Okay, hello. We are live. Hello there and welcome. Welcome to my Lunch and Learn. I'm Larisa McCook, and every week I'm here to explore topics to help you elevate your mindset, be at your best, and radically expand your life and business. And today I'm really excited about the subject because we're talking about energy, and I am a big fan and proponent of energy. And I'm going to talk to you about how you can keep your energy at its peak as the seasons change. So if you feel like you've been feeling like these shorter days, these cooler days have been really getting to you, and a part of you wants to hibernate and just hide inside, yet another part is saying, you've got this beautiful life you're building. You have this incredible goal that you're working towards, and you just need to get up and move. It looks like you're in a bit of a tug of war, right? You're being pulled in one direction and in another. If this feels like you, if you can relate, this talk is for you, because I'm going to share some ways that you can still honor yourself, your desires, while moving through this change in seasons. So thank you for being here. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Larisa McCook. I am a master results coach and CEO of Abundance Academy, where we help entrepreneurs, educators, managers, coaches, and consultants, and professionals whose external world basically tells people that they're successful, but on the inside, they know they're destined for more. They know they're holding themselves back. And so I help them overcome stress, overcome overwhelm, anxiety, imposter syndrome, self sabotage, and really go after their dreams so that they can love themselves, love their business, and love their life once again. So I would love to know where you are coming in from. Tell me if you're tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. And if it is your first time here, type in first time in the chat. I do really appreciate you and acknowledge your presence. So thank you for being here. So this talk actually came about. I ended up choosing this subject when I was speaking with Megan, and we were really talking about the change in seasons and how some days it's easy to be really uplifted, and other days the energy seems to dip. And I saw this in so many people in my world over the past couple of weeks. Right? It's like, yeah, I'm on. The fall is here. We're getting geared up. And then all of a sudden, I just get really tired. And I had so many people talking about being tired, and so I started thinking about this idea of energy and how we can keep our energy at its peak when everything about this seasonal change of fall is saying, let's wind down, let's slow down, let's celebrate. Yet let's get ready for winter, right? Winter is the season of hibernation, but we're not quite ready to hibernate yet. Okay. We're not ready to hibernate yet. So it reminded me of when I was going through some fertility treatments. And I just want to share a little story before I dive into the tips that I want to share with you today. Now, many of you know, if you've been following me, that I had an infertility journey. So I spent about 10 years trying to get pregnant. And in that time, I made a lot of changes in my life. One of the biggest changes is what I put in my body and how I fueled my body. And my normal used to be eating white pasta with cheese. That was like the typical meal, and gummy candies. And I would eat like a pile of gummy candies as an entire meal. And I would wonder why my stomach was sore, why I would have blood sugar crashes and couldn't stay awake most of the time. And so that was a major shift in eating habits, is something that started to happen. And I feel like I was on every single diet over the course of those years. And I realized that greens and salads and things like that were actually really good for my body. However, as it was getting colder, it became more and more difficult to eat them every day, and even sometimes twice a day. And I feel like I was like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be healthy. So let me know, raise your hand if you can relate to that. If you feel like you do all these things that you're supposed to do, and sometimes it works, but it's not as sustainable for you on a daily basis. So I was with my osteopath. Okay. So when I was with my osteopath, we had this experience, and she was telling me, she actually had a lot of nutritional background, and she worked in a lot of healing modalities. And she pointed out something obvious that I'll never forget. She's like, well, girl, you live in Canada and it's cold outside. So when it's cold outside, you may want to warm things up. You like if you're in California, it's easy enough to eat a raw diet and fresh salads and drink green juice and drink fresh pressed juice on a daily basis because the weather's warmer. It's that season. It's in the environment, the physical environment. Whereas in Canada where I lived, we had winter. It got to be like minus 10, 20, and even 40 degrees outside. We grew very different foods in our geographic area than they did in California or in warmer climates. And so in the fall and in the winter, it was more natural for us to eat foods like squashes and root vegetables and um, really start to cook our foods. And yes, while I started following and kept following healthy eating guidelines, I stopped getting so hung up on things and I really started looking at like what's local, what's natural for the season, like what are all the cooking shows putting out there, while maintaining some of my really good guidelines, and things started to get so much easier. So why am I sharing all of this with you? We're not going to get into a cooking show or recipes. However, it did get me thinking about the seasons and cycles and also geographic locations and what's natural in one area versus another. And while it's not going to be a health lecture, I do want to point out that there are rhythms in our life. We have seasons, and these seasons often correlate to quarters in business, to yearly cycles, to monthly cycles, to weekly and daily cycles. We have all kinds of cycles, and these are referred to as rhythms. And whether in nature, whether in life or business, you want to know what seasons you're in and work with them for the optimal ease and flow. So, ask yourself, do you want to work with your seasons and rhythms to actually have them flow into one another so you can do things with more ease? And then if you do things with more ease, you have more energy and vibrancy by the end of the day. That just makes sense. Do you want to hear yourself talking about the good things to come for the next season with enthusiasm and really honor the essence of that season? And are you ready to take a look at some new ways to be even more effective, to be more streamlined, to be more authentic and productive as you close out the end of your year? Because that is what today is all about. It's about keeping its energy at its peak as the seasons change. So, according to Merriam-Webster, the word energy, right? The word energy is the capacity of acting or being active. It's a vigorous exertion of power or effort. And so there is an effort, there is an action that must happen. Sometimes this energy can be expressed through thought, right? Sometimes we don't think of thought as being energy, but thought is actually thought energy. We have energy in our feelings, we have energy in the tea that we're drinking. Now, even the color of this cup, there is something referred to as color energy. There's an entire book on color energy. But even the color in this cup, in this mug, has an energetic frequency, a vibration. My sound has frequency. The energy of people around you, the energy of what you do and how you do it, all contributes to this energetic factor. And so, really important to realize that everything in you and around you is energy, whether you can see it in this physical 3D world or not. There is an energetic frequency. And if you start learning how to tune into it, that's when you can start working and playing with it at an elevated capacity. The other thing I want to point out is just this idea of seasons again. It's the division seasons in the typical year. It's the division of the four, it's each of the four divisions of the year, right? Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And each of these seasons are marked by particular weather patterns, daylight hours, and they result from the Earth's changing position regarding the sun. Now, if you let's start with spring. Okay, let's just start with the spring season, right? Spring is when babies are born, when bunnies are born, the new flowers and leaves and buds come out on the trees. It is a time of rebirth. It is a time of newness and of freshness. Summer is a time where you sow your seeds and you let them grow. It's a time of nurturing. It's a time of waiting around and letting things come to fruition. So when you think about summer, summer can be fun, summer can be vibrant, summer is full of energy. You have this freedom, this ability to move, and there's more time, there's more daylight, so that the sun can nurture your crops. Okay, so you have more physical day in your world. When it comes to the fall, this is where this is a time of harvest. This is a time of reaping the rewards that you planted in the spring and that you nurtured throughout the summer. And so the fall is a time for celebration and for this harvest. And it sometimes we try to do all of these things, right? There's three different distinct energies here. Sometimes we try to do all three of these things at once. However, you really are in one essential season at a time. And then winter is where you do hibernate. It's when you get quiet. It's when you create space and start setting the seeds, start getting setting the intentions for the next year's crop, right? It's a time of rest, it's a time of rejuvenation, it's a time where a lot of people and families get together. And so if you start thinking about the seasonal cycles, the four seasons, sometimes we do have them over the course of an entire year in business. Sometimes this seasonal cycle happens over the course of 2 or 3 years. Sometimes it happens over the course of a couple months. However, if you think of applying this seasonal cycle to your business or to your life, you want to start looking at, what season am I in right now? What season am I in right now? And it might be that reaping and that rewarding season, just like the agricultural season, or it might be different. However, when you start learning what season you're in and you know what the possibilities can be, you can start adjusting accordingly. Now, like I said, Einstein said, everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of that which you desire, and you can't help but get it. This is philosophy. This is physics. It is not philosophy. And this is probably one of my favorite quotes, because everything really is energy. And so when you do align with what you desire, you will get it. And there's a law of rhythm, right? There's something called the law of rhythm. There's many universal laws. I was first introduced to the idea of universal laws by Bob Proctor. And many people talk about them, but he was essentially the first person that introduced me to what the law is and how it works. And the law of rhythm is basically this idea that everything goes in cycles. There's a rhythm. The tide goes up and it'll come down. Good things will happen, bad things will happen. For every high, there's a low, but it will keep going and it'll keep going up and down. It's literally like a tide, or like the ripples on the water. And so when you start to realize this, you know that whatever part of this cycle or whatever part of this season you're in, you start finding your own rhythms, you can start working with them in a more intelligent way. So here are 4 things I want you to really pay attention to and start becoming aware of in order to work with your rhythms, in order to work with your seasons and get the most out of this fall. So you have more energy to carry out your goals. So you have more vibrancy to move forward. Okay. So first and foremost, decide you want to keep your energy up and you're an energetic person. You've got to make a decision that, I've decided that I'm going to keep my energy up. I've decided that I am going to do what I need to do and be who I need to be and show up like I need to show up in order to achieve the goal I desire. When I had my son, I remember moms used to talk about being tired their first year. And I was just like, I do not want to be an exhausted basket case. What I do want to be, right? I didn't want to focus on that image. I was like, what I do want to be is I want to be a vibrant mom. Maybe I'll slow down or shift my rhythms a bit. Okay, I want to be a vibrant mom. I want to be present. I want to have energy in my days. And I want to thrive from morning till night. And I wasn't tired. Maybe I had less sleep. However, I had decided not to be tired. And so over the course of the day, I didn't sleep in that consecutive cycle. However, over the course of the day, I would still get enough sleep that I needed for me. I would wake up rested. I would go through the majority of the day rested. I was able to sleep like that. And I woke up when I needed to. And I knew in my heart and soul, because I asked for it, that I was getting just the right amount of sleep I needed. And the sleep I was getting was going to fuel and nourish me. I asked for it. And I made that decision. And so everything really is a decision. Belief is a decision. That is where it starts. So, first thing, decide to keep your energy up. Decide that you're an energetic person and do the doing to make it happen. Second, remember the basics, right? The basics are the basics are the basics. This is our theme of the fall with my clients at the Abundance Accelerator program right now. We're really talking about the basics in many aspects of life. But when it comes to the basics of energy, there's three things that you really need to do. You want to eat, you want to move, you want to sleep. Okay, so three really basics in terms of what's going to affect your physical health and well-being, your physical energy. When it comes to eating, like I mentioned, if it's cooler weather, you may not be drinking iced tea or cold drinks. You may have more teas, or instead of smoothies, you may turn to elixirs. You may have more bone broth. You may eat more soups or sauteed or steamed veggies. You may cook your food. You may use more spices, some warmer spices in your cooking. So Google has tons of ideas, tons of recipes. So, I mean, you can go to Google and look up fall recipes. They will have fall spices and warm spices, and pick a menu of things that are really, truly appealing to you, that are nourishing, that are hydrating, that are made of whole foods, that are full of vitamins and nutrients to keep your body enriched. It's also really important to stay hydrated. Sometimes we forget to drink, right? We forget to drink. As it gets cooler, it might be a little more difficult to drink. Always important to keep fuel and liquid in your body. It doesn't mean coffee and caffeine, that means liquid. At my desk, I have a water. Just to show you, I step on these throughout the day. I have, this is a water with mint chlorophyll in it. And this is a tea. This is the warm one. Okay, so I have three beverages next to me at my desk, because they're there and ready to go. And I know if I have them there, then I will be able to stay hydrated. Hydration is huge for brain health. It's huge for brain function. It's really important to cleanse your body. When it comes to moving, right? Another basic, keep moving every day. Maybe you won't go for as many runs. Maybe you won't do the same types of exercise you did in the summer. However, it's important to keep moving and be open to changing the type of movement you do. So there may be some more seasonal activities that are better. However, moving, if you can get outside, being outside in any season is absolutely key. I often find even in winter, right, as the winter approaches, some people are afraid of slipping on the ice. Well, we have some pretty big hills in our area. My husband got us those cleats that stick on your shoes. And so you put those little ice picks on, because it gets very icy. It doesn't get as cold in Toronto, but it's very icy in our neighborhood. So we got those ice picks so we could go for walks in the winter. And it kept us moving. There's no such thing as bad weather. There is just bad clothing. So make sure you've got that for yourself. However, you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep moving every day. And if what you were doing in the summer isn't working for you, change the type of movement, but keep moving your body in all directions from head to toe. You got to move your shoulders and your arms. You've got to move your spine. You've got to move your hips and your legs, and it will be magical. The other basic is sleep. If you want to go to bed earlier because it's dark, it's natural. It's dark. Go do that. Start increasing your bedtime. You may find you want to sleep a bit longer. That's okay. It's always important in any season to be in bed before 10 p.m. so that you can have the optimal release of melatonin. And that's going to help you get the best and most rich and fulfilling sleep that you can. So definitely be in bed by 10. But if you want to start increasing your bedtime a little sooner, then go and do that. So step one, decide that you're going to keep your energy up. Step two, remember the basics. You got to eat, move, and sleep for optimal function and for yourself, and adjust a little bit, adjust accordingly for this season. Number three is realize there is a flow, right? I mentioned the law of rhythm. You want to define your rhythm, really know what season you're in, right? We are entering the season of fall from an agricultural standpoint in North America. In the Australia, New Zealand end of the woods, neck of the woods, it's going to be spring. So you guys are going to be opposite. So this will be relevant to you in 6 months. However, here in North America and in the Northern Hemisphere, it's fall. So what season of your life are you in? Are you in that planting of new seeds? Are you in this nurturing stage? Are you in this reaping of rewards? Are you in the hibernation, gotta rest stage? So, really calibrate that and know where you're at in comparison to this actual season. Okay. You want to make sure that you set intentions and priorities. Business, I think business is really wonderful because typically in business, every quarter you readjust, you recalibrate your priorities. And you have annual plans and then you have quarterly plans that you set out and you take action on. And this is something that so many more of us should really take a look at and incorporate in our lives. Just like the seasons change, what are your intentions for this next season? What are your key priorities? And how are they actually going to show up in your life? You want to make sure to honor and incorporate priorities that are going to honor your genius zone or the things that you're best at, or those things where you lose track of time. Perhaps if your current work or your current line of business isn't facilitating that, see if you can incorporate that in your week, maybe once or twice or three times a week. So you do get to spend time in your genius zone doing something that truly fulfills you from the inside out. And the more and more of your time you can spend in that, then you're going to start to shine. So start adjusting your schedule accordingly each season to make those priorities fit, and take the time to do things that you need to do and only say yes to what serves you. If it doesn't, it's okay. You can always say, for this season, for this period of time, my focus is this. I'm not going to take on anything else. However, I'll revisit it next quarter. I'll revisit it in a few months. For now, this is my entire focus. And unfortunately, this just doesn't match right now. So that's also another strategy. So keep those peak experiences, keep the flow, keep your rhythm, and balance it with everything else. Okay, so step 1, decide. 2, the basics. 3, know your rhythm. And 4 is get equipped. Okay, step 4 is get equipped. You want to make sure to have all of these pieces of the pie ready to go. If you are having new recipes, you want to have those recipes on hand. Typically, we start changing recipes each season, right? You might have a new batch of 10 or 12 recipes you're going to use and use 3 to 5 times over the course of the season before you change to winter recipes. We tend to eat a lot of the same things, so get your recipes in order. You may want to get your new wardrobe in order, right? We have fall fashion, we have seasonal fashion for a reason, because everything is energy. The colors, they change, the styles, they change, the fabrics, they tend to change and be suitable for the season. So get your new wardrobe in place, and you're going to feel differently when you are dressed according to the weather, when you're dressed according to the season, when you're really dressed according to your priorities in life. You're going to start feeling so much better. That's going to raise your energy. I know whenever I get a new outfit or whenever I get something that just makes me feel incredible, my energy dramatically goes up, right? I could be tired, but I'm like, oh my gosh, these new shoes, this new purse, this new jacket, I feel like $1,000,000. Doesn't mean go shop and buy everything in the store, but go buy a couple new key pieces. Go pull them out of the back end of the closet and bring them to the forefront, and really take the time to celebrate and step into that energy. You really incorporate colors or essential oils. I've got my diffuser going on in the back here. So there are oils, there are scents that are more suitable for the season. Start bringing more of those energies into your life. Also, with your priority, what do you need in order to be prepared? These are the things that you want to be equipped with. What schedules, what physical items do you need in order to prepare? Get yourself set up. So we've covered a lot. I'm just going to recap. Decide what you need to keep your energy up. Remember the basics: eat, sleep, move. Realize there is a flow. You want to define yours and get equipped. So it really does boil down to you making that decision that you want a rich and fulfilling life and you're willing to go for it. And if you are successful on many fronts and seem to have everything you want except what you really want, there might be something missing, and you want to really elevate yourself to your most rich and fulfilling life. So you're truly going after your dreams. I'm going to invite you to join me in my upcoming Vision Expansion Workshop. It's a workshop we've hosted many, many times this year, and we are going to keep going. We've got several more planned to the end of the year, and we will have some in the new year as well. And this is an opportunity where you can create a limitless vision that propels you to your most rich and fulfilling life. So, if you are a professional that is ready for your next level of success, I want you to join me because it is a truly, truly phenomenal experience. I remember the first time I did this process, my world opened up. So many of the frustrations I had in terms of planning my life, really uncovering my desires, they just went away. And everyone that's ever come to this workshop has had a magical experience, even if they've done tons of vision boarding, vision casting in other places. This is different, and we've got some magic sauce. I will teach you a step-by-step repeatable strategy to create and elevate your vision for your future that truly does align with that life and business that you want and love. So if you want in, we will make sure to pop registration links in the chat. They are in the link in my bio. So definitely reach out. We would love to see you there. The workshop is complimentary. It is a few hours. So this is an investment. This is not just like oh yeah, come learn some theory. You are going to walk away with a plan in hand. And we just have so much that we want to give to you and gift to you to help you truly elevate your mindset and elevate your life, because that's what we're all about at Abundance Academy. We are here to radically expand your life. We want you to elevate yourself, to elevate your family, and truly, truly be at your best. So I want you to go out, keep your energy at its peak as this season changes, as your seasons change, whether it's just in this agricultural season or whether it's in your life. The seasons will change. They will continue to keep changing because the tide goes up and the tide goes down, and it will keep going and going and going. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you for being here, and let me know if you do have any questions. I will make sure to answer them in the chat. Bye for now.